Hey there, YouTube. So today we're going to be cleaning out the interior of the Astra. So I bought both cleaning and protecting ArmorAll wipes, invisible glass cleaning wipes, this Freshfx SmokeX rapid odor eliminator. So this will probably be one of the things that I use last. Well, we'll probably clean the windows last, just because I don't know if when this lights off. It's basically, it seems like it's kind of like a bug bomb sort of thing. So, but I don't know if that'll leave a residue on the windows or not. Then I got two different types of carpet cleaner and fresh set of rags and some new microfiber towels. I would recommend having all the doors open. That way you've got the most access that you have. If you can turn off the dome light, it's good. That way your battery doesn't go dead. But just in case, I've got the battery tender hanging out, hooked up. Plus, I don't know where the battery's actually fully charged at, so it doesn't hurt having the battery tender on it. And then with the car, it's pretty dirty. So on the ad, originally the guy had that it was super clean inside and out, and for the most part some areas are still pretty clean, but like some areas are pretty rough. And then like even the headliner type area, and I don't know what that is exactly, but someone smoked in here, so it doesn't have a really bad smoke smell, and for the most part the headliner isn't really stained, but like the sun visors have a little bit of stuff on them. So, and the biggest thing anytime you clean an interior is more or less to start from the top down. So do your windows last, but like if you're gonna be removing glue and stuff like that, so actual like final cleaning of the windows, do that last. But removing glue, kind of do that before you do, because as you can see, as I'm scraping this stuff off, well, you might not be able to see, but now all that's landing on the dash or on my finger. So had I just cleaned the dash, I would now be cleaning the dash again, and then as I'm cleaning the dash and all the dust goes down, then I'd be cleaning the floor again if I had already cleaned the floor. So it's kind of like an order of operations, kind of like doing math. Try and do everything up top first and then work your way down. So anything that's going to cause things to fall down and get other things dirty, do that as you come down. And then I'd also recommend dropping any of your windows that you can put down. That way as you're cleaning, then you don't have to try and clean like the plastic protectant and cleaner off the windows. So, but I wouldn't really have the vehicle running if it's a manual, just because of the chance as you're doing stuff you might knock it into gear or something like that. If it's an automatic, you know, you could have the vehicle running if you wanted to, but you know, it's one of those things where, you know, if you have the ability to do it without it running, it's best. And also, if you're planning on doing a really good detail and it's like really super dirty, you might also want to think about doing like a cabin air filter at the same time. So, but step one is going to be removing everything out of the car that doesn't need to be here. Now I'm not going to go super crazy and pull the seats, but like the cell phone holder, any of the paperwork and stuff, the owner's manual, this weird bolt, all that's coming out. My cup of change is staying in here because the GoPro is going to be on it for when we try and do stuff. I'm hoping it gives me a nice solid mount, that way I don't have to hold it the whole time and you guys are watching the jerky cam as I'm trying to clean areas. So real quick, I almost forgot, gloves are a good idea. So is like a screwdriver. So you can see I pulled the mats out with the seat like folded back, then I folded the seat forward and pulled the mats out. And it's a good thing I went through and cleaned this, because should I have been pulled over, this might have been bad to get caught with. So that was underneath the seat. The other thing is that, well, you can see there's change here, but you can also see there's a nickel on the seat slide. So like there's what seemed like a problem with the seat going back. That might be the problem there. So as you're going through and you're cleaning it, you might be fixing little problems that you had as you're cleaning it. So, but I've got most everything pulled that can be pulled easy. I don't feel like pulling the seats out, but like the back, I pulled all the stuff out of the spare tire well, and you can see it's not super dirty, but it still has some junk back here. But by pulling like the rear carpet out, you can see there's a fair amount of stuff underneath the back seats. Back here, it's relatively clean. It's just really dusty. All right, so use a screwdriver, try and knock the nickel loose. I don't know what it's swimming in, but it's pretty gross. So I don't know if that's like soda or some other kind of weird tar type stuff or something. So now this might be a situation where maybe it'd be nice to take the seat out, in which case, you know, it looks like I would take that bolt out and that bolt out and probably some out front. The problem with taking seats out, especially on older cars up here up north, is that if it winds up going all the way through the seat or all the way through the floor, there's a slight chance that you're gonna have a lot of rust on it and it might actually break. So if you're thinking, oh, I'll just, you know, really detail the car real quick, and then all of a sudden now you can't bolt your seat back in. We're getting some money back out of this of this car deal. All right, it's not bad. All right, so this is the back seat, and it's pretty hairy. So what I'm going to do is try and take it out. Now it's got this little ring in front, and if you try pulling on it, nothing happens. So a lot of times, anytime you have like ones like this, sometimes you've got to push down right there, and then you're able to pull it forward, and that unlocks it, and then you just have to do the other side, and you should be able to hopefully take it out. All right, so for this, it seems almost like you've got to push it back and then kind of lift up in the back to get it unhooked, which means that when you go to put it back in, you'll have to invert the process. So when you go to push that seat back in, you'll have to push the back part of the seat to get those clips back behind here, and then pull back forward. That way it sets back in. But listen, we got a free wrench. I've got pretty much everything pulled out that I want to pull out. And now what we're going to do is we're going to start dusting down. So starting up high with everything open, we're just going to quickly brush through everything with a microfiber cloth. Just to try and knock down as much dust as we can. you can vacuum up high to try and grab anything that you might have missed, but at least you're not so much scrubbing with the vacuum, which can cause scratches. So vacuum wise, nothing special. This is just the shop vac that I've had for years. So, and then I'll probably be using this attachment for most of it. I don't really have a good like bristle brush attachment, but the goal right now is just to get as much of the dirt absorbed up and out of the way. That way we can start shampooing the carpet. Okay, so let's go ahead and get the back seat vacuumed. You can see it's got quite a lot of dog hair on it. Alright, so dog hair's gone. You can still see it's got a fair amount of stains. So this will be pretty interesting once I take that, like the carpet cleaner and upholstery cleaner stuff to it. Alright, so this is a pretty good example of why you like try and clean out the higher stuff before you do the lower stuff. Because trying to get all the weird funky junk out of this could wind up landing on your fresh clean floor if you would just clean the floors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and tackle like the rear part of this, get this all good and clean. To clean out some of that junk way down in there, basically I'm just going to take the cleaning wipe and a screwdriver. Basically just use the screwdriver like a scraper, try and get as much of that out as I can, and hopefully the cleaning wipe will help break up some of the funk. So got some of it out, but this will take a little bit. But I'll get this cleaned up and then I get to vacuuming the rest. All right, so back seat area is all vacuumed out, cleaned up. You can see over here there's like some dirt that's in there. Hoping that comes out whenever I do wind up cleaning it with like the shampoo stuff. So this was, of course, when I did this area, it was with the seats as far forward and as high up as I could get them. So the passenger seat doesn't go up, but the driver's seat does. And then for doing this front part, it'll be the exact opposite. So it'll be the front seats as far back as they'll go, and also as high up as they'll go too, and then trying to get underneath. But you can see just how much your floor mats help. So all that junk that could be in your carpet is not. Now this driver's side's pretty bad. But now you can see that's some caked on mud. So most of it will probably vacuum out, but there'll probably be a lot of deep embedded stuff that the little brushes on those like shampoo bottles will help with. Beyond just detailing, just things in general, any kind of chemicals that you get on lenses, so like your gauge lenses, on your screens, on your buttons, even on your steering wheel stuff, you want to be careful of. So even though this cleaner is supposed to be pretty safe, it's still one of those things where there's a chance it might damage stuff. And especially like a brand new car, if you wind up having some weird lotion on your hand and it damages your screen, that's not a warrantable item anymore. So you've now added something weird that makes it no longer warrantable. Now if you're friends with a dealership and you're really nice and you do like oil changes and stuff like that there regularly, they may still replace it. But it's going to be one of those things where the manufacturer may get that warranted item and then go, no, this isn't warrantable. In which case now the dealership's going to eat that. And how many times is the dealership going to eat one of those before they tell everybody, don't replace these? Just in case, as you're cleaning, if you do wind up getting something on the lens, some cleaning agent or something like that, go ahead and wipe it off as soon as you can with a microfiber cloth, just to make sure you've got it off. And then the big reason why I'm going through with the microfiber cloth first on everything is like you can see all the dust up here, and that would make the cleaning wipes super dirty and full of weird stuff. And you know, I'd wind up burning through a ton of cleaning wipes as opposed to burning through just a handful of cleaning wipes. So using a microfiber cloth to come through and get all the dust, and then of course knock all the dust down, will help save you in some of the additional costs. So in case you don't want to use a whole bottle of this on a car, and maybe you're going to do a couple cars or something like that, then I'd recommend going through with that microfiber cloth everywhere first. So one of the dirtiest spots on a lot of cars is actually where you rest your arm on the driver's door area. And if you don't really believe me, check this out. So I know as a tech, I used to rest my arm here on my other car, and it didn't have a black upper section like this one does. So it had like a silver one. So but you can see the dirt that came off of that. So there's a fair amount of stuff in there, and I'm even willing to bet that even if I went back on this like a clean spot, re-scrub where normally an arm rests, it's still really dirty. So you always want to be careful about what you have on your arms when you're touching this. But even your natural human oils, getting on it will attract dust and dirt. That old rag's pretty gross now. So, but it's just one of those things that it's going to be one of the dirtier areas, just to keep that in mind. Front areas all vacuumed out, wiped down, much cleaner than it was before. Still got some pretty good stains though in the seats. That caked on looking mud is probably actually caked on looking salt. So that'll be interesting to try and work on tomorrow. But what I'm about to do now is light off that smoke bomb thing. And before I do that, I just got to get all the interior components back in. So I've got the back seat thrown back in but not latched down. Same thing back here. I've got the rear cover back in and the rear carpet, but nothing's really in place. I'm hoping this still allows airflow around. That way that, you know, little thing that I light off winds up getting rid of all the smoke smell that everywhere it could get to. And then I'm leaving the floor mats out. It's because I'm debating putting the floor mats back in or buying like a set of rubber mats. Let's tackle this Smokx odor elimination technology. And basically it's almost like a bug bomb. If you guys have ever used those. So you trigger the tab on it and then it just keeps going until it runs out. So for this, what you wind up doing is you, I don't know if it'll focus enough to read. Definitely not if it's on the ground. So this is what it looks like. There's the tab. And what you want to do is you want to put it in a central location of the car, as flat as possible. This will work. It's not perfectly flat, but it'll spray kind of towards the center of the car. And then you want to set the fan speed to high and then have it on recirculate with the AC going. You've got essentially the vehicle sealed while the windows are up and the doors will be shut. So it's something where you don't want to be in it. So essentially I'll be stepping out. But you want to make sure the fan's on high, interior recirculation, and then you close all the windows. Then you activate it with a nozzle facing away from you, set in the center console, and close the car door. Fog will empty completely into the closed vehicle. Leave the car door closed for 15 minutes with the AC on to recirculate. Then open all car doors, turn the car off, and allow the car to air out for 5 to 10 minutes. So fire it up, parking brake set, neutral. Woo! It's on recirculate, right? Nope. Recirculate. All right, now let that sit for 10 to 15 minutes. You can see it's spraying. Well, maybe you can't see it spraying. There you go. And then that should disperse out. And then with it being on recirculate, the recirculate draws down low on the passenger side. So it'll keep cycling that through. And I forget what scent this one was, but it does kind of smell like a men's aftershave. So it's been about 4 minutes. It looks like the can stopped. So I'm not sure how long it was running. I was kind of using this time to clean up all the trash and just put everything away. All right, so time's up. Should be time just to open up all the doors and then shut the AC off. Whew. Smells like someone spilled the bottle of aftershave. So yep, open all car doors, turn the car off, and allow the car to air out for 5 to 10 minutes. So before I forget, this was midnight air scent, and all in all, not a bad process. Pretty quick, pretty easy, pretty strong smell. So it'll be interesting to see how long that lasts. But it'd be interesting to see how this would work, like if you had like a musty air intake. So if the vents inside of your car, they had like a little bit of water, so you had like just a hint of a mildew smell. I wonder if this would help with the mildew smell, or if it's pretty much this is just for smoke. But either way, pretty simple. Seems like it worked. Definitely don't smell any smoke. Well, hope you guys enjoyed the video. I'll check you in next time.